You believe that what you want requires more effort. You believe that if you just push harder, chase faster, and want it more desperately, life will finally hand it over. You believe that the people who receive are simply the people who fought the hardest. But you are wrong. The truth is the opposite of everything you were taught. What is yours is not obtained. It is received. And it is received in stillness, not in struggle. There is a force that operates behind the visible world. It moves without noise. It works while you sleep. It arranges people, doors, timing, and provision long before you ever see the result with your eyes. Most people never feel it because they are too loud inside to notice it. That force has a name, and from this moment forward you will call it by that name. It is the quiet delivery. Not a wish, not a technique, a law. The quiet delivery is the invisible current that carries to you everything that already carries your name, and it moves only through the calm. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are. Peace is not the reward for receiving. Peace is the road that receiving travels on. And here is what happens to the one who never learns this. You will spend years working for things that were already assigned to you. You will exhaust yourself, building with your own hands what heaven was already preparing to hand you. You will feel the door open, and you will run past it because you were moving too fast to see it. You will sabotage the very thing you prayed for because anxiety and abundance cannot occupy the same heart. And the cruelest part is this. You will blame God for a delay that you created with your own restlessness. So answer this, and do not answer quickly. If everything meant for you is already on its way, what exactly are you doing when you run? Sit with that question. Do not push it away, because the answer to that question is the reason your life looks the way it looks right now. Today, you are going to understand something that will change the way you pray, the way you work, and the way you wait. You are going to understand why calm is not passive. You are going to understand why stillness is the highest form of faith a human being can practice. And you are going to understand why the universe, which is simply the ordered creation of a loving God, does not respond to your urgency, but to your identity. From the moment you were small, you were trained to equate worth with exhaustion. You were told that good things come to those who grind. You were told that if you want it badly enough, you will get it. And that teaching produced a generation of people who are tired, anxious, and still empty. Because effort born from fear is not effort at all. It is panic wearing the clothing of discipline. Understand this deeply. When you chase something with anxiety, you are broadcasting a message. That message says, I do not have it. And the invisible world, which mirrors you perfectly, responds by giving you more of exactly what you broadcast. You continue not having it, not as punishment, as reflection. The anxious pursuit communicates lack. The calm state communicates abundance. And what you communicate is what you receive. Scripture opens with a principle so simple that most people read past it. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Notice the language carefully. It does not say fight for these things. It does not say chase these things. It says seek the kingdom. And the kingdom is not a place you travel to. It is a state you enter. It is an inner alignment with the divine order. When your heart is in that kingdom, the things come. They are added. They arrive as a consequence, not as a conquest. Napoleon Hill said that faith is the only known antidote for failure. But read that slowly. He did not say hope, he did not say wishing, he said faith. And faith is not a request you make when you are afraid. Faith is a state you live in when you are calm. Faith is the settled certainty that what is yours cannot be taken, delayed by another person, or lost in the noise of the world. This is where the quiet delivery begins to work. It cannot move through a clenched fist. It cannot move through a mind that rehearses disaster every night. It moves through open hands and settled hearts. It moves through the person who has stopped begging and started believing. Look at your life right now, not to judge it, to read it, because your life is a letter written by your inner state. Every relationship, every number in your bank account, every opportunity that came and every one that passed you by, none of it is random. All of it is a response. You are living inside the answer to a question your heart asked years ago without words. Galatians teaches that whatever a man sows, that he shall also reap. And most people believe this is about actions. It is not only about actions, it is about states. You sowed fear, and you are reaping insecurity. You sowed scarcity, and you are reaping limitation. You sowed urgency, and you are reaping a life that never seems to arrive. But if that is true, then the reverse is equally true. Sow peace, and you will reap provision. Sow certainty, and you will reap doors. Napoleon Hill said that the subconscious mind will translate into reality any idea that is dominated by emotion and repetition. Read that again. Emotion and repetition. Not effort, not force. What you feel deeply day after day silently when no one is watching is what begins to shape the world around you. The house you live in, the money that comes, the people who stay. All of it grew from invisible roots planted in the soil of your inner state. This is why you can change your city, your job, your relationship, and still find yourself living the same life with different scenery. The world does not change until the being changes. You carry your inner climate with you. You will export it to every new place you go. So look around you. What has your life been telling you about what you have been silently vibrating? The answer may be hard, but it is also the most liberating thing you will ever discover. Because if your outer world was created from within, then you hold the pen. You can write something new. Tonight. Now let me tell you about a man who learned the quiet delivery in a prison cell. His name was Joseph. He was 17 years old when God gave him a dream. In that dream, he saw sheaves of wheat bowing to his sheaf. He saw the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowing before him. He woke up with a picture in his mind of a future that made no sense with his present. He was the youngest, he had no power, he had no army, he had nothing but an image, and he made a mistake that many of you are making right now. He rushed to announce it. He took the sacred image and threw it into the noise of the world before it had roots. His brothers heard it, and their hatred grew. They threw him into a pit. They sold him to traders passing through. He went from favored son to merchandise in a single afternoon. Now watch closely, because this is where most people would abandon the dream. He was taken to Egypt. He was sold into the house of Potiphar. And in that house, something remarkable happened. He did not spend his days weeping for the pit. He did not spend his nights rehearsing revenge against his brothers. He worked, calmly, faithfully. In a foreign country, serving a man who did not know his God, Joseph became so trustworthy that Potiphar handed him everything he owned. And then it got worse. Accused of a crime he did not commit, thrown into prison, forgotten by a man he had helped. 2 full years passed. 2 years of silence. 2 years where the dream looked like a lie, a boy once told himself. But here is the detail almost everyone misses. In that prison, Joseph did not become bitter. He became useful. He interpreted dreams for other prisoners. He served. He remained the same man in the cell that he had been in the palace. His inner state did not collapse when his outer state collapsed. And when the moment arrived, when Pharaoh had a dream no one could explain, they did not send for Joseph slowly. They rushed him out of the dungeon. They shaved him, they dressed him. And within a single day, a forgotten prisoner stood before the most powerful man on earth and became the second ruler of Egypt. Understand what happened. 13 years of silence. And then one day of delivery. The quiet delivery had been working the entire time. Every betrayal was transportation. Every injustice was positioning. The pit moved him toward the caravan. The caravan moved him toward Egypt. The false accusation moved him toward the prison. The prison moved him toward the cupbearer. The cupbearer moved him toward Pharaoh. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. What looked like collapse was construction. And Joseph never once made it happen. He simply never stopped being the man the promise required. Napoleon Hill said that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. He was not writing poetry. He was describing a law that Joseph lived 35 centuries before Hill wrote it down. Now sit with this. What in your life have you been calling a delay that was actually transportation? What have you been mourning that was actually movement? If something inside you just moved when you read that, write the word Joseph in the comments right now. Not because I asked, because there is power in naming the moment you recognized yourself in a story. Let us go deeper. There is a spiritual secret that completely transforms the process of receiving. It is called living from the end. It means you think, speak, and feel as though what you desire is already accomplished. Not as delusion, as reprogramming. Jesus said, "Whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you have received them, and you shall have them." Look at the verb. Believe that you have received. Past tense. Completed. The prayer that works is not the prayer that begs for a future. It is the prayer that thanks for a present. Napoleon Hill said that the subconscious mind accepts only what is felt as true, and that it cannot distinguish between reality and an image held with intense emotion. This is not a trick. This is architecture. When you live as though it is already yours, the subconscious accepts it as the new baseline, and it begins to construct routes, ideas, encounters, and opportunities that make the baseline true. This is not pretending. Pretending is performing for other people. This is aligning. Aligning is becoming in private the version of you that the thing belongs to. Live like the one who has already been provided for. Speak like the one who has already been answered. Walk like the one who already carries what they asked for. Even when nothing outside has moved yet, everything inside is being rearranged, and the outside always follows the inside. Always. Without exception. Stop waiting to feel worthy after the thing arrives. Feel worthy now. That feeling is the seed. Time handles the harvest. Anxiety is the language of a soul that does not believe it will be answered. It is the mind screaming at a door it cannot open. It is the attempt to control the uncontrollable through worry, as though worry were a form of work. It is not. Worry is faith pointed in the wrong direction. Worry is you believing with all your strength in the outcome you do not want. But there is a higher place. It is called conscious surrender. Surrender is not quitting. Surrender is trusting. It is saying with your whole chest, "I have done my part, and now I release the how, the when, and the through whom." The psalm says, "Commit your way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." It does not say fight until you fall. It says trust. Trust is the mechanism. Trust is the delivery vehicle. Napoleon Hill said that when faith is blended with a definite purpose and persistence, it opens doors that effort alone could never touch. Notice what he placed first. Faith, not hustle. Faith. Because effort without faith is just noise, and noise blocks the quiet delivery. Breathe now, right where you are. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and let it go slowly through your mouth. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel the tension you have been carrying in your chest like it was your job. You have been carrying something that was never yours to carry. You have been trying to be God for your own life, and you are tired because that role was never assigned to you. Let it go. Not the dream, the grip. Now let me take you to a mountain. The prophet Elijah had just experienced the greatest victory of his life. He had stood alone against 450 prophets of Baal. He had called down fire from heaven in front of an entire nation. He had won so completely that there was no argument left to have. And then a queen sent him a threat. And this man, who had just commanded fire from the sky, ran. He ran into the wilderness. He sat under a tree and asked God to take his life. The greatest day of his ministry was followed by the darkest hour of his soul. Now watch what God did. He did not rebuke him. He did not lecture him about faith. He sent an angel who fed him and let him sleep, and then fed him again and let him sleep again. God's first response to a broken prophet was rest. Then Elijah went to the mountain, and God said, "Come out and stand before me." A great wind tore through the mountains and shattered the rocks, but God was not in the wind. Then an earthquake shook the ground beneath him, but God was not in the earthquake. Then a fire swept across the mountain, but God was not in the fire. And after the fire there came a still small voice. That is where God was. Understand what heaven was teaching him, and understand what heaven is teaching you right now. You have been looking for your answer in the wind, in the dramatic breakthrough, in the loud moment, in the shaking, in the fire. You have been convinced that when your provision arrives, it will arrive with thunder. But God is in the whisper. And a whisper cannot be heard by a person who is screaming. This is the entire mechanism of the quiet delivery. It does not shout over you. It waits for the silence. It speaks at the volume of peace, which means the only people who ever hear it are the people who have stopped making noise. How many instructions have you missed because you were too loud inside? How many times did the answer come as an idea at 3 in the morning? A name that crossed your mind? A strange urge to make one phone call, and you dismissed it because it was too quiet to be God. The wind gets your attention. The whisper gives you direction. If you have ever missed a whisper, type the word whisper in the comments. Let it be a promise to yourself that you will not miss the next one. Now understand the physics of this in the language of the soul. Nothing exists in the material world that did not first exist in the invisible. Every building was a thought. Every song was a feeling. Every fortune was an image held in a mind before it was a number in an account. Genesis reveals that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Before there was any visible action, there was intention, there was vision, there was a word spoken into darkness. And we, made in the image of that Creator, carry that same faculty. We think, we imagine, and we manifest. It is not blasphemy to say this. It is inheritance. Napoleon Hill said that the imagination is the workshop of the mind, where the plans of achievement are shaped. Understand the sequence. When you visualize with faith, you plant. When you feel the image as real, you water. When you repeat it with conviction, you harvest. Imagination is not escape. Imagination is the first stage of reality. But the secret is not in the picture. The secret is in the feeling. It is in seeing it as though you are already inside it. Not watching yourself from a distance like a film. Standing inside it. Feeling the floor under your feet. Hearing the voices in the room. Do that now, just for a moment. See the life that is meant for you. See the home. See the peace on your face at the end of a day. See your body healthy and strong. See the people you love provided for, safe, laughing. See the work that fulfills you instead of consuming you. See the account that no longer terrifies you when you open it. Do not just see it. Feel it. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Feel the ordinary, unremarkable calm of a person for whom this is simply Tuesday. That feeling is the frequency. And the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between that image and a memory. It only responds to the dominant vibration. So use your imagination as a sacred tool, not to run from your life, but to build a new one. And never underestimate an image nourished by faith, because everything you can see clearly within yourself, with emotion and certainty, the invisible finds a way to make visible. There is a gateway between mind and matter, and it opens when 3 forces unite: intention, image, emotion. Jesus said, "If you believe, you will see the glory of God." Notice the order. Believe first. See second. The world tells you to see it and then believe it. Heaven says believe it and then you will see it. This is not a small difference. This is the entire difference between the people who receive and the people who wait forever. Napoleon Hill called this autosuggestion. Repeating an idea with such emotion that the subconscious begins to accept it as fact. But it is not enough to mumble, "I am prosperous," like a man reading a phone book. You must feel it. You must see it. You must make the declaration alive inside your chest. The best hour for this practice is the hour before sleep. It is when the conscious mind loosens its grip and the subconscious opens like fertile soil. What you plant in that hour grows silently while you rest. So tonight, before you close your eyes, do this. Breathe deeply 3 times. Then say, quietly and with feeling, "What is mine is already on its way, and I am calm enough to receive it." Then see one image, only one. Hold it for 60 seconds, feel it as already true, and then sleep. The quiet delivery works the night shift, let it. Now let me tell you about a man who had too many soldiers. Gideon was hiding in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret because he was terrified of the Midianites, and an angel appeared to him and called him a mighty man of valor. A man hiding in a hole was addressed by his destiny instead of his circumstance. Eventually Gideon assembled an army, 32,000 men, and God said, "That is too many." Read that again, too many. God said, if you win with 32,000, you will say your own hand saved you. So send home anyone who is afraid. 22,000 left. 10,000 remained. And God said, still too many. So God brought them to water and watched how they drank. Those who knelt and buried their faces in the water were sent away. Those who lifted the water to their mouths with their hands, staying alert, staying calm, staying aware, those were kept. 300 men. An army of 32,000 was reduced to 300 before the battle began, and they won. Not with swords, with trumpets, clay jars, and torches. They stood still in their positions and watched the enemy destroy itself in confusion. Understand what heaven was demonstrating. Your victory was never going to come from your capacity. It was going to come from your alignment. God reduced the army so the man could not confuse effort with provision. And you keep building your 32,000. You keep adding more hustle, more hours, more strategies, more noise, because you are terrified that if you stop moving, nothing will happen. But some of you are being reduced right now. Things are being stripped away. People are leaving. Plans are collapsing. And you think you are being punished. You are being prepared. The quiet delivery often begins with subtraction. Before it gives you what is yours, it removes what was never yours because you cannot hold both. Stand still. Hold your position. Watch what the invisible does with an enemy you never had to fight. Let me be very direct with you now. Your urgency is not devotion. Your urgency is doubt with good manners. When you pray the same prayer 11 times a day with a tight chest, you are not demonstrating faith. You are demonstrating that you do not believe it was heard the first time. The prayer of faith is prayed once and thanked for forever. When you refresh your phone, checking for the message, the offer, the sign, you are not being diligent. You are being anxious. And anxiety is the static that drowns the whisper. When you take the thing back from God's hands and put it in your own and then wonder why it is not moving, understand what you did. You interrupted the delivery to inspect the package. Stop. Put it down. It is being handled. I want to say something to the person who is exhausted right now. You have been strong for so long that you forgot strength was supposed to be seasonal, not permanent. You have been the one who holds everything together, and no one has asked who holds you. You have prayed prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling. You have watched people who did not work half as hard receive twice as much, and somewhere in the quiet, you started to wonder if you were forgotten. You were not forgotten, you were being formed. There is a difference between silence and absence. A teacher is silent during the exam. That silence is not abandonment. It is confidence in what was already taught. If that reached you, if that landed somewhere real, take 1 second and hit the like button on this video, not for the algorithm, as an act, as a small physical gesture that says, I am choosing to believe again. And if this channel has ever spoken to your soul, subscribe and turn on the bell, because the next message may be the one you needed on the worst day of your life, and I do not want you to miss the whisper. Now let us go to a river. Naaman was a great commander, wealthy, respected, victorious, and a leper. All the power in the world and a disease eating him alive underneath the armor. He heard of a prophet in Israel, so he loaded up horses, chariots, silver, gold, and fine clothing. He arrived at the prophet's door as a great man expecting a great ceremony, and Elisha did not even come outside. He sent a servant with a message, Go wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will be restored. Naaman was furious. He said, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of his God and wave his hand over the place and heal the leprosy. He had scripted the miracle in his own imagination, and the real one was too small for his ego. The Jordan was muddy. There were better rivers back home. He turned to leave, and a servant, someone with no rank at all, said something that saved his life. My father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean, he went down, he dipped 7 times, and his flesh became like the flesh of a little child. Here is what I need you to understand. He almost missed his healing because it was too simple, and that is you. You are waiting for a complicated answer, a dramatic sign, a miracle worthy of your suffering. And the instruction has already come, and it was small. Rest, forgive that person, make the call, leave the job, stop the striving. wash in the muddy river. The quiet delivery rarely arrives in the form your pride designed for it. It arrives in the form your obedience can receive. And notice something else. He had to dip 7 times, not once. After the 3rd time, nothing had changed. After the 5th, nothing. After the 6th time, he was standing in a muddy river, still a leper, still looking like a fool. The healing came on the last one. How many of you stopped at 6? Napoleon Hill said that most people give up just when they are about to achieve success, that they quit at the 1-yard line, that they stop 1 foot from the gold. He studied thousands of men and found the same pattern. Failure and fortune are often separated by a single act of persistence, performed without any evidence that it will work. 6 is not failure. 6 is the last step before 7. If you have ever quit at 6, write the number 7 in the comments. Let it be a covenant with yourself that this time you will finish the count. Let us talk about what to do with your hands while you wait. Because calm is not paralysis. I'm not telling you to sit on your couch and wait for a check to fly through your window. That is not surrender. That is laziness wearing a spiritual costume. There is action born from fear, and there is action born from faith. They look identical from the outside. They produce opposite results. Action born from fear asks, what if it does not come? It moves fast, checks constantly, forces doors, and burns out. It is exhausting because it is powered by scarcity, and scarcity is a fuel that consumes the engine it drives. Action born from faith asks, what is mine to do today? It moves at the speed of peace. It works with excellence and then releases the outcome. It sleeps at night. It is sustainable because it is powered by certainty. Do the work, but do it from rest, not for rest. The farmer plants. The farmer waters. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to see if it is growing. That is not diligence. That is the murder of the harvest through impatience. Some of you have dug up your seed 100 times, and then you wonder why nothing grows. Cover it, walk away. Let it be dark and quiet down there. That is where roots are made. Napoleon Hill said that you are today where your thoughts have brought you, and you will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. So take inventory, not of your bank account, of your thought life. What have you been rehearsing? Because rehearsal is preparation, and your mind prepares for what it rehearses. If you rehearse the disaster, you are training for the disaster. If you rehearse the phone call where they say no, you are practicing rejection until you become fluent in it. Rehearse the arrival instead. Change the movie playing behind your eyes when you're driving, when you are washing dishes, when you are lying in the dark. That movie is not entertainment. That movie is instruction to your subconscious. It is a blueprint being handed to the builder. Give the builder better plans. Now let me tell you about a woman who stood before a king without an appointment. Esther was an orphan raised by her cousin, a foreign girl in a hostile empire. She became queen of Persia, and then she discovered a decree had been signed to destroy her entire people. Her cousin sent her a message. He said, "Do not think you will escape in the king's palace. Perhaps you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this." And here is what she did not do. She did not run into the throne room screaming. She did not act on panic. She did not force the door. She said, "Fast for me for 3 days, neither eat nor drink. And I will go, and if I perish, I perish." 3 days of stillness before 1 act of courage. Understand the sequence. Stillness first, then movement. She entered that throne room with the calm of a person who'd already surrendered the outcome. If I perish, I perish. That sentence is the sound of a soul that has released its grip. And when she walked in uninvited, an act punishable by death, the king extended his scepter. The door that should have killed her opened for her because she approached it in peace. You will get your moment, but the moment will require the version of you that was formed in the waiting. Stillness is not the absence of your calling. Stillness is the training ground for it. Let me address something painful. You have watched other people receive what you asked for. You have watched someone less prepared, less faithful, less desperate walk into the thing you have been praying about for years. And you smiled at them, and you meant it, and then you went home, and something in you broke a little. Hear me carefully. Their delivery is not your denial. The quiet delivery does not run on comparison. It runs on assignment. What is theirs was never yours, and what is yours cannot be taken by them. Your provision has your name written on it in a handwriting no one else can forge. Envy is a confession. It says, I do not believe there is enough. And the moment you believe there is not enough, you have removed yourself from the frequency of abundance and stepped into the frequency of lack. Bless what you want to become. Never resent it. Resentment builds a wall between you and the thing you resent, and then you stand behind the wall you built and blame God for the distance. Rejoice at their delivery. It is proof the trucks are running. Now understand what calm actually is, because you have misunderstood it your entire life. Calm is not the absence of storm. Calm is the presence of certainty inside the storm. Jesus slept in the back of a boat, while waves broke over the sides and grown fishermen screamed. He was not calm because the water was still. He was calm because he knew who was in the boat. And when they woke him, he did not panic and start bailing water. He stood and spoke 3 words to the storm: peace, be still. Notice the order once more. He was still before the sea was. The storm did not create his peace commanded the storm. That is available to you, not as poetry, as practice. The peace you carry into a situation determines what that situation is permitted to do to you. So stop asking God to calm the storm. Ask God to make you the kind of person who sleeps through it. Let me give you something practical, because faith without practice is just a nice feeling that fades by Thursday. There is a morning declaration and a night ritual. Do both for 30 days and your inner world will not be recognizable. In the morning, before you touch your phone, before you let the world upload its anxiety into your mind, sit up and place your hand on your chest. Feel it rise and fall. And say this: today I do not chase, today I receive. What is mine is already moving toward me, and I am calm enough to recognize it when it arrives. Then take 3 breaths, slow in, slower out. That is it, 90 seconds. But you have just told your subconscious what kind of day this is, and your subconscious will spend the next 16 hours proving you right. It always does. At night, when the lights are off and the house is quiet, do this. Do not review the day's failures. Do not litigate the conversation you had at 2 in the afternoon. Instead, name 3 things that arrived today without your effort: the sunrise, your breath, a message from someone, water, anything. Because gratitude is not politeness toward God. Gratitude is evidence collection. It is you gathering proof that provision has been arriving your entire life without your permission or your panic. Then visualize one image of your future and hold it for 1 minute. Feel it is already true, and then sleep. Do not skip the sleeping part. Sleep is an act of faith. Sleep is you declaring that the world can run for 8 hours without your supervision. Every night you close your eyes, you are practicing surrender. Now let me tell you about a man who had to stop. Moses stood at the edge of the Red Sea with an army behind him and water in front of him. There was no strategy. There was no third option. There was death by drowning or death by sword. And the people screamed at him. They said, "Were there not enough graves in Egypt that you brought us here to die?" And Moses said something that sounds impossible in that moment. He said, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Stand still. With chariots coming, stand still. That is the most counterintuitive instruction ever given to a terrified crowd. Everything in their bodies said run. Everything in their nervous system said do something. And the instruction from heaven was to stop moving. Because there was nothing to do. There was no human action that could part water. And when they stood still, the wind came all night, and the sea opened, and they walked across on dry ground. Understand this. They did not swim. They did not build boats. They did not fight. They walked. And the very water that was going to kill them became the thing that destroyed their enemy. Your impossible situation is not your obstacle. It is your instrument. But it only becomes an instrument when you stop trying to be your own savior. There are things in your life right now that will not move by effort. You have tried. You have strategized. You have exhausted every option, and the water is still there. And you think the answer is to try harder, stand still, not forever, not as a lifestyle, But right now, in this specific place where you have done all you can do, stand still and let the wind blow all night. If you have a Red Sea in your life, something that will not move no matter what you do, write the word "stand still" in the comments. Sometimes declaring it out loud is what breaks the trance of panic. Let us go deeper into the mechanism, because I want you to understand why this works and not merely believe that it does. Your subconscious mind is a servant. It does not argue. It does not evaluate. It does not decide whether your instructions are good for you. It simply executes. And it executes based on the dominant emotional state you occupy, not the words you say. This is why affirmations fail for most people. They stand in the mirror and say, "I am wealthy," while every cell in their body is screaming that they are lying. The subconscious does not hear the words. It reads the feeling underneath the words, and the feeling underneath was fear. So it executed fear. You cannot lie to your subconscious, but you can lead it. You lead it with images held in peace. You lead it with a body that is relaxed while the picture is playing. You lead it in the hour before sleep when the guard at the gate has gone home. Napoleon Hill said that thought mixed with the feeling of faith becomes a powerful force. Mixed. That is the operative word. Thought alone is a shopping list. Feeling alone is a mood. But thought fused with feeling becomes a command, and the invisible responds to commands. So the question is not, do you believe? The question is, what are you feeling while you believe? And you cannot feel abundance while your body is in a state of emergency. This is why calm is not a spiritual luxury. It is a functional requirement. A nervous system in survival mode cannot generate the frequency of receiving. It can only generate the frequency of protecting. And protecting means holding, gripping, clenching, and refusing. You cannot receive with a closed hand. And fear closes hands. That is what fear does. It is designed to make you hold on tighter. So the entire practice of calm is the practice of opening your hands while your fear tells you not to. Breathe again with me, slowly. Let your hands rest open, palms up. It feels strange. Do it anyway. That posture is a theology. It says, "I am not taking, I am receiving." Now I want to talk to the person who is angry at the timing. You are not upset about the outcome. You believe it is coming. You are upset that it is late. You had a schedule. You had an age by which this was supposed to be settled. You had a year circled in your mind, and that year came and went, and you are still here. Understand something about timing that will free you. Delivery is not delayed. Delivery is timed to readiness. If Joseph had received the throne at 17, he would have been a tyrant with a dream. He needed the pit to remove his arrogance. He needed the prison to build his patience. He needed 13 years to become a man who could hold power without being destroyed by it, and who could face his brothers without revenge. The thing you asked for at 25 would have destroyed you at 25. That is not cruelty, that is mercy. Some of you were protected from your own prayers, and one day you will thank God for the answer that never came. Napoleon Hill said that every adversity carries the seed of an equivalent benefit. He also said that patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. But listen to the first word, patience. He put it first, not because it is passive, but because it is the container that holds the other two. Without patience, persistence becomes panic. Without patience, work becomes worship of the outcome. Let your soul settle into the timeline. The timeline is not your enemy. The timeline is your training. Let me tell you about a boy with 5 stones. David walked into a valley where an entire army had been frozen with fear for 40 days. A giant had been screaming at them every morning and every evening, and the strongest men in Israel hid in their tents. David arrived carrying bread for his brothers. He heard the giant, and he asked a question that changed everything. He said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Notice what he did not do. He did not measure the giant. He did not calculate the odds. He did not compare his height to the giant's height. Everyone else was doing math. David was doing memory. He said to Saul, "Your servant killed a lion and a bear. This giant will be like one of them." He was not calm because he was brave. He was calm because he had a history. He had private victories no one had witnessed. Out in the fields, with no audience, no applause, no algorithm counting his views, he had faced a lion and won. and nobody knew. That is where the calm came from. Not from confidence in himself, from evidence of God in the places where no one was watching. And here is the part everyone forgets. Saul tried to put his armor on him, the king's own armor, and David took it off. He said, "I cannot walk in this, I have not tested it." He refused to fight with borrowed strength. Then he ran toward the giant. He did not walk, he ran. Calm is not slow. Calm is not passive. Calm is what allows you to move decisively when the moment comes, because you are not paralyzed by fear. One stone, one throw. 40 days of terror ended in 5 seconds. Understand this. The battle that everyone said was impossible took less time than it takes to boil water. Because when the alignment is right, the delivery is fast. You have been afraid of your giant for 40 days or 40 months or 40 years, and you have been doing math. Stop doing math. Start doing memory. Remember the lion, remember the bear. Remember the time you thought you would not survive, and you are here, reading these words, breathing. You have a history with God. Let it make you calm. Now, understand the enemy of the quiet delivery, because it has a name and you feed it every day. It is not the devil. It is not other people. It is not the economy. It is noise. Noise is anything that fills the space where the whisper would have been heard. It is the constant scroll. It is the podcast playing while you shower, the video playing while you eat, the music playing while you drive, the news playing while you fall asleep. You have arranged your life so that you are never alone with your own soul for more than 90 seconds. Why? Because silence is where you feel the ache, and rather than face the ache, you drown it. But the ache and the answer live in the same room. You cannot avoid one without missing the other. So here is an instruction that will cost you nothing and change everything. Tomorrow, take 15 minutes of silence. No phone, no music, no agenda. Sit and let your mind empty itself of static. It will be uncomfortable for the first 8 minutes. Your mind will list your problems. Let it. Do not fight it. Just breathe. And then, somewhere around minute 10 or 11, something settles. And in that settling, you will hear something. It may be a name. It may be an instruction. It may be a single sentence you did not construct. That is the whisper. That is the quiet delivery speaking at the only volume it uses. 15 minutes a day. That is 1% of your waking life. And it is the 1% that organizes the other 99. Let us talk about the people who are waiting on you, because you have made this about you, and it is not only about you. Joseph's calm in prison fed an entire nation during 7 years of famine. Esther's stillness before the king saved a whole people. David's private victories delivered an army that had been paralyzed for 40 days. Your delivery is not just yours. There are people downstream of your obedience. There is a generation that will eat from a harvest you plant in silence. There are people who will be free because you refuse to panic. So when you fight for your calm, understand you are not being selfish. You are being responsible. Your peace is infrastructure. Other people will walk on it. That should change how seriously you take your inner state. It is not self-care, it is stewardship. Let me speak to the doubt that just showed up. Right now, something in you is saying, "This sounds nice, but you do not know my situation. You do not know the number on my account. You do not know what the doctor said. You do not know how long I have waited. You do not know what he did to me. You do not know what I lost." You are right. I do not. But I know this. Every person in every story I have told you today had a moment where the evidence said it was over. Joseph in the prison, Elijah under the tree, Gideon in the winepress, Esther under the decree, David in the valley, Moses at the water, Naaman in the mud. The evidence lied every single time. Evidence is a report on the past. Faith is a report on the future. And you are not required to believe the past about your future. Napoleon Hill said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. He did not say whatever the mind can prove. Proof comes last. It has always come last. That is the entire structure of faith. If you had proof, you would not need faith. And without faith, the delivery has no vehicle. Believe before the evidence. That is not foolishness. That is the mechanism. Let me give you the hardest instruction of this entire message. Thank God for it now. Not when it comes. Now. While it is still invisible. While the account is still low. while the phone is still silent, while the body still hurts. Because gratitude in advance is the highest form of faith. It is the emotional signature of a person who has already received, and the subconscious, which cannot tell the difference between a memory and an intensely felt image, accepts your gratitude as confirmation that it has already arrived, and then it goes to work, making the outside match. This is not manipulation of God. This is alignment with the design. Say it right now in your chest quietly. Thank you. For the thing I cannot see yet. Thank you. Feel what happens in your body when you say that. Something releases, something unclenches. That release is the sound of the grip letting go. And the moment the grip lets go, the delivery has room to arrive. Let us return to the question I asked you at the very beginning. If everything meant for you is already on its way, what exactly are you doing when you run? Here is the answer, and I want you to receive it slowly. When you run, you are not chasing your provision. You are outrunning it. You are moving faster than the pace at which it can be delivered. You are arriving at doors before they were opened, so you find them locked and conclude they were never yours. You are so busy building an alternative that when the real thing arrives, your hands are already full of the substitute you made out of fear. Chasing does not accelerate the delivery. Chasing relocates you away from the delivery point. The quiet delivery has one requirement, that you be findable, and you cannot be found by someone who will not stand still. That is why the instruction to Moses was stand still. That is why the instruction to Gideon was hold your position. That is why the answer to Elijah came in a whisper after the noise had exhausted itself. That is why Joseph rose from a cell without ever writing a single letter to Pharaoh. They were findable. Be findable. Stay where the truth put you. Do the work in front of you. Keep your heart soft and your hands open, and let the invisible do what the invisible has been doing since the beginning of the world, quietly, faithfully, without your supervision and without your permission. What is yours has your name on it. It cannot be intercepted. It cannot be stolen by someone who prayed less than you. It cannot expire because you turned another year older. It cannot be cancelled by a mistake you made in a season when you did not know better. It is coming. Not because you deserve it, because it was assigned, and it will arrive at the pace of peace. So stay calm. Not because nothing is wrong, because something is right and it is moving, and it is closer than your fear will let you feel. Stay calm and receive what is yours. Breathe with me one last time. In through your nose, slowly. Hold it, and out. Let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw open slightly. Let your hands rest open in your lap. Now say this quietly and mean it. I am not behind. I am not forgotten. I am not late. I release the grip. I release the timeline. I release the how. What is mine is already moving, and I am calm enough to receive it. I am findable. Sit in that for one moment before you get up. Do not rush out of this. Let it settle into the place where your fear used to live. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are. So be the person the promise belongs to. Be the one who sleeps in the boat. Be the one who stands still at the water. Be the one who hears the whisper, because the noise finally stopped. And it will come. In the right time. In the right way. Through the door you never thought to watch. If this message reached the part of you that has been tired for too long, do something with it before you leave. Write in the comments, I am calm, and what is mine is already coming. Do not write it because I asked. Write it because declaring it out loud seals it in you, and because someone else scrolling through their worst night will read your words and remember that they are not alone. Hit the like button. It costs you 1 second, and it carries this message to someone who is standing at a Red Sea tonight with no way through. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe now and turn on the bell, because I do not know which day will be your hardest, and I want to be there when it comes with a whisper instead of noise. Share this with the one person you thought of while you listened. You know their name. Send it. You may be the delivery someone has been praying for, and remember this always. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on your peace. Stay calm. Let it come. It is already yours.